I had a college professor look at my last name and he
It's
goes,
all right.
"Yeah, I'm not even going to try that one."
Well, good morning, man. It looks like we're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me just check on this. So, man, it has been a phenomenal week. Good morning to everybody that's tuning in to RoadFS Detail Memoirs, where we're exploring the movers and shakers. And we have a phenomenal guest today, Zaia Dinkha. And of course, I'm Jody Cedric with Zimwer.
And I'm Rod Pusey. And as always, Detail Memoirs is sponsored by RoadFS, the software that drives your business.
Alrighty, man. So so we're trying out some brand new tech, and we have the tech guru with us, and we're software tech, but when it comes to multimedia and things, the guys that are leading the industry are Zaia and the Rag Company.
I love how I'm wearing a t-shirt right now too.
That's right. You're representing both.
Yeah.
That's sure. It. You got to wear the colors, man. He's got the flag in the back. He's got the badge on his chest, and everybody knows CarNewba Detailing, man. So how are you today?
I appreciate you guys. I'm doing good, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. So I think probably the most obvious question is, how are you doing through all the last several months?
You know what, man? I guess the best way to put it, I've been happy. You know, it's funny. I think a lot of people have been like really stressed out over things, but you know, thank God I've been blessed to have people, my father, mentors from the industry throughout this to educate me prior to going in of opening up a shop location and this and that rather than staying mobile. I got myself prepared for whatever really comes forward, whether it's an economic disaster. I mean, I didn't really necessarily have a pandemic in mind, but it is what it is, you know? At least I went in there knowing, like, it's okay if shit hits the fan. I'm all right for a very, very good amount of time with no worries whatsoever. But luckily, it wasn't too bad. I still had a good customer flow come in throughout the time period. A lot of exterior work. I tried to avoid the interior stuff because of just the whole COVID thing. Mm-hmm. It was even to the point, like, a lot of other detailers and manufacturers where there was pretty much no face-to-face contact for about 2 weeks or so between me and customers. Just leave the keys in the car and we'll take it from there type of thing, you know?
So tell everybody what state you're in.
I am the state of Arizona, specifically the city that I'm in is Surprise, Arizona, about 30 minutes out from Phoenix.
Okay. So, and as everybody knows, all states have different rules and different guidelines. I mean, we tell people here, even in Idaho, the state of Idaho has one set of guidelines, and our city of Boise has a separate set of guidelines.
Yeah.
So you have to follow both sets, and depending on where you're at. And so, you know, as we go and navigate through this, we've had comments and people talk to us about, well, you know, those guys shouldn't be doing this or those guys shouldn't be doing that. Everybody remember that each state is totally different. And I, you know, to me, I'm like, I'm no different than anybody else. If my state had guidelines that allowed me to do contactless work and continue working, I would have continued to do that the entire time. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, no one's telling anybody to go out there and break guidelines and laws. You know, it is what it is. But at the same time, you know, we were hit with the problem that the government wants us to shut down, not do anything, but they're not really helping out too much. But they're all taking full pay, you know. So it's just like there's an issue here, you know.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily tell us not to work, but then also tell us to pay our bills. So for me during this whole situation, I try keeping on the down low. I don't like stating my opinion too much because I'll be honest with you, nobody really probably cares too much about my opinion, and people. I think a lot of people need to think that way because I saw a lot of friendships be destroyed on Facebook because of all this stuff. So it was kind of a sad sight to see, but I'm glad that we're mostly through it. Things are starting to open back up. Especially here in Arizona, things have been going in full blast, and it didn't really even slow down during the whole pandemic also, so.
Yeah.
So
I think of everything that I've seen, I think that's probably the most eye-opening, disappointing, whatever you want to call it, is that within a matter of weeks, people were just, you know, at each other's throats and just going nuts, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I mean, the same people that are posting the most nasty comments 2 hours later are posting this thing of, oh, why can we all just get along and these things shouldn't tear us apart. I'm like, dude, you were the one that posted the nasty crap 5 minutes ago. So I don't. That's kind of like my philosophy is I don't post anything. I don't post anything political, religious, anything whatsoever, because that's me personally. That's my personal beliefs, and I really don't care what anybody else thinks about it that's out on the internet. The people that know me already know. So there's no reason for me to post something out there, because then that's just going to cause more problems. And people are ruthless on the internet. So
yeah, the only person that Rod ever gets it into it is with me. So I know exactly where he stands, and that's okay. He knows exactly where I stand, and we have mutual respect. Sometimes we get along, sometimes we disagree, but that's what makes a great partnership.
Yeah, exactly. No relationship is solid and long term if there isn't disagreement. If everything is happy and fairy tales, you're probably faking it most of the time. So
yeah.
Well, one of the things that you said there that I'd really like to clue in is you came into it, entering a shop. So what are the things that you put in place prior to moving into the shop that made you not only be able to take that step, but also be able to weather, something so unexpected like COVID?
yeah, I mean, I couldn't have opened a shop at a worse time, right, during COVID-19 and a recession, quote unquote, or potential recession. And I guess the first place that you have to start as a business owner, but more so even as an entrepreneur, is your mental state. Get yourself ready, mentally prepare yourself for what you're about to do, and also where you are at life currently. Because where I was, I thought I was just getting a little bit too comfortable. Just waking up out of bed, jump into my van when I want to, go into my appointment when I want to, all that stuff. And for me, I get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That state of uncomfort is what drives me most of the time. I'm honestly a naturally lazy person. I think all of us are to a certain extent. I mean, you got people like freaking David Goggins who never stops moving. But me, if I have nothing to do, I'll do nothing. Okay. Like, I don't download Netflix on my phone for a very good reason, because if it's there, I'll be on it for hours on end. So it's just getting your mental state of mind ready in check, and then after that point, figure out where you are as a business, where you are financially, both in the business realm but also personally as well, and then plan for the future after that point. Create that solid business plan. I know Jonah from Detail Memoirs mentions this all the time. Big shout out to him. He's a great friend of mine, and we talk a lot about this. But like I said before, I was lucky enough to have mentors and individuals that I learned from, saw where they were, what they did, where they got to, take away from their mistakes, but also the things they did right, and then make my business what it is right now to the best of my ability. So
are you only in the four walls, or do you do mobile as well?
I do mobile as well, but mobile has really become very, very kind of like by appointment. I would say I'm doing one or two mobile appointments every week or two on the max. Typically, they're more so consultations. In fact, rather than my customer spending 20 minutes driving over here, I charge them a small fee to go ahead and drive out there and do a quick consultation, come on a service, and then schedule their official appointment at the shop location. So,
are you dealing with extreme Arizona temperatures, or are you more in a more of a temperate climate?
No, it's extreme. I mean, we're predicted to hit it about 115 to 120 later this summer, so it's going to be hot.
Yeah, so that kind of strikes that mobile right in the knees and takes the wind out of your sails, so to speak. Because 130 degrees, you're not doing a big paint correction out on a car. So
yeah, it hurts, but you know what? We learned to adapt here, man. During summer, I'm about 4 shades darker, especially when I was mobile. So I always make a joke with my customers. They're like, "Oh, aren't you hot out here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I used to be white, but and technically I am white on my birth certificate. It does say that I am Caucasian, so it is what it is." But yeah, it gets extremely hot. But again, you learn to adapt. You got to do what you got to do. You're going to run through more product. You're going to take a lot longer on your detail. You're going to take more breaks. You got to drink a whole lot more water. But at the same time, you still got a business to run.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, on the flip side of that, you guys have a longer season than a lot of folks. I mean, some of the opposite extremes where they can't do anything but 4 or 5 months out of the year, unless they have a fixed location, and they focus more on interiors. You got people up in Alaska, you got people in Maine, even in Idaho. 2 hours outside of Boise, the snow just melted. So it's the opposite of that. Now, with that being said, we're supposed to hit 100 tomorrow, Jody, here in town. So
yeah.
Congratulations, guys. Cheers to that.
Jody will be happy. He will be outside soaking up all that stuff. I don't know how he does that. I will be inside in the air conditioning.
I will be on a boat wake surfing.
Nope, not this guy.
Yeah, no.
I was born Caucasian, and I sometimes I think it's the opposite of white.
I didn't notice that, Rod. Forgive me about that.
Yeah.
Not
it's the negative at this point. It's almost see-through.
Yeah, on his birth certificate it said clear.
Yep.
Illuminescent.
That's right.
Glow in the dark.
So how did you get started in the industry, Zaia?
Oh man, it was an interesting story. Obviously, I had a passion for cars, big passion for cars. I remember back when I was in elementary school, Top Gear, the original Top Gear, came out with an episode with a Bugatti Veyron. That was my all-time favorite car, 16.4 liter W12. I love that thing. And I got so sick and tired because the internet back then was slow, even like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I was so sick and tired of YouTube buffing forever. So what I did, I spent the day downloading the whole video so I can just click the downloaded video and just watch it every day whenever I want to without waiting for YouTube to load.
Nice.
So obviously you got to have a passion for, you don't have to have a passion for what you're doing. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who's doing it for business purposes, but after that point, in college, I participated in an angel grant competition very similar to Shark Tank. My professor at the time persuaded me into doing it after seeing my college presentation, which was CarNewba Detailing at the time, and he persuaded me to do the competition. I finished the first round, made it into the final round, and I like to tell everybody that I won, but in reality, pretty much everybody else quit. So I don't know if that's a good thing. So I was so good that everybody else backed out, or maybe people got lazy this one and finished the rest of the competition. But either way, I won a good sum of money to go ahead and start the company up back in the day over there. Back in the day, meaning about 4 or 5 years ago in the Chicagoland area, and I'm here. So
nice.
So
what brought you to Arizona versus staying where you were at?
Chicago and the state of Illinois sucks. That's simple.
Yeah, I was going to let you go there. I wasn't going to take that, but
it's reality. I mean, Chicago, Illinois, it's going downhill for a very long time. Financially, the state has been in a very bad position for a while now, and I mean, we're paying $10,000, $11,000 in just property taxes alone over there. It's like we're living in an old small house, and we're a pretty large family. We're 6 people right now, so it's like we want a better life, and we're looking elsewhere. And Arizona is just one of those states with really nice homes, newer homes. Something that we can go ahead and really expand into and grow as a family, but also my business as well. Being in Chicago, you have winter, and winter sucks. And I don't like winter, as you can see from my skin color. So Arizona's been really, really a blessing in all of our lives. We really are glad we made that move. So
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
what is your... Go ahead, Jody.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what is your primary focus there in Arizona? Are you just strictly detailing? Are you into the paint corrections? I mean, what is your thing? If somebody was like, "This is what I'm going to CarNewba for,"
oh man, I mean, right. I've only done 2 interiors the past 2 or 3 weeks now, so everything has been strictly exterior. I get a few hand washes from my local business neighbors over here. They bring them in. I do a quick wash and talk about coating services and stuff like that to start sparking their interest. But majority of the time, it's been like paint enhancements, 1-steps, the occasional 2-step correction, and 1 year to 3 year coating applications. A few, higher end coatings here and there, but that's been pretty much it. But I'm very surprised that detailing is not the thing that a lot of people have been inquiring of me about. It's the content creation and media and social media stuff that people have been contacting me about.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, and I think that's because it is, I'm not going to say it's a rarity, but it is not the most prevalent thing in this industry.
Yeah.
And so people that, there's a few of us that do stuff. Obviously, you've got Detailpreneurs, you've got Pints and Polish, you've got Randy Doyle's podcast, you've got yours. The Rad Company is, taking the whole industry because they've got, professional level studios and everything.
They're looking for
and then there's our podcast.
To be completely honest, they're just trying to control everything and everyone right now. I honestly don't mind that. As long as I get towels, I'm good.
That's good.
Well, and I think part of that, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna throw this out there, but in general, the guys and gals that are really good, nice people are doing really well.
Yeah.
The Rad Company, they are they're such good people.
Yeah.
I mean, you just want to be part of that family. I would put you in that category. The guys at Detailpreneurs, Jody and I are phenomenal.
Oh, I agree.
The thing about that is I think that's part of it. And I do wholeheartedly believe this, that when you're a nice person and you're not faking it, that's just how you are. You reach out to other people and you're a good person, that comes back.
Yeah.
Some of these people that I see in the industry that have been in the industry and then out, they're just jerks. And you go, how do you think your customers are going to see that?
Mm-hmm.
Our customers, detailing customers, go to the websites. They look at the stuff. They see what's out there on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm amazed by is anytime somebody's doing something negative on the internet, I'm like, your customers see that. You're out there slamming on this customer that came in and did something, whether it was their fault or not. You don't slam them on the internet. So
yeah, for sure. I made a post actually recently, one of my only, I guess if you want to call it, opinionated posts on Facebook on my personal. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I basically posted like, a lot of you guys are bad actors, so you should just stop faking and face reality, because that's where the real motivation kicks in. But it is so true. Like, I think a lot of people just go throughout their personal life or business life or whatever it is, and they realize that something is wrong, and rather than correcting it and addressing it the proper way, they just try to fake their way out of it, And people, like you said, people see through it. And more so on top of that, just like you said, people want to work with nice, loving, caring individuals. They don't want to work with buttholes, all right?
Yes.
I think a lot of guys forget about that. They let their ego get in the way. They think that they need to look all badass behind a polisher and this and that. And I try my best just to be professional online. You guys see throughout my videos. And you see me in person as well. I like to have a little bit of fun here and there, It's not a big deal. But, when I'm in business mode, I'm in business mode. But you also have to make sure you carry that along through the rest of your day, too. And not leave that behind, because at the end of the day, you are still the founder, owner, CEO of that business. And if you do something wrong, it reflects on everything else.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the things that I really love about my interactions with you over the past couple of years is you're always positive, you're always professional, and you're always looking to uplift people and motivate them. So what are some things, because I know you and Jonah Gomez in particular are really focused in on this. You're like, I got to start with me. I got to start with me as an individual, as a business owner, and really elevate my game as a person. So talk about some of the things that you're doing to elevate yourself as a person, which then is rippling across all the other aspects of your life, and why that's so important.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, we're getting into like a little bit of personal and business development here, and I guess one of the biggest things that affected me is get rid of the negativity throughout life, whether it's in you, whether it's on social, whether it's somebody you know. I'm sorry to say it, if they've been a friend for 10 plus years, and I have done this, I've pushed away family members, long-term friends, but get them out. It might be temporarily, but for now, until they figure their stuff out, they don't apply to you anymore. Because just like the old saying is, you are what you surround yourself with half the time. Surround yourself with positive, engaging people that are looking to learn, that are looking to motivate themselves and others around them and push forward through, a time like we are in right now. And then again, after that is just address what you have to improve about yourself,
Yep.
Focus on and focus on your strengths too. I know a lot of people say focus on your weaknesses, but if you keep focusing on your weaknesses, you're not going to optimize your strengths and really kick ass afterwards,
Yeah.
Like I realized that my strength is I'm good at being on camera. I'm good at talking. I'm good at educating people and training people on camera and things of that nature. And it's like that's what I dialed in, and now people are coming to me for that type of stuff too. And I really enjoy doing it. It's a fun time, and sometimes it takes a lot of time out of my day, but it is what it is. It's kind of like what I decided to do with CarNewba Detailing in general. It's not just a detailing company now, but it's more so of a media company too, and you guys are going to see that a little bit later down the line in the future. Some cool things coming up. So
cool. Well, and I think that the really important piece to that is identifying things in your life that you are feeling are negative. I'm going to share something that, Jody and I have known each other for close to 30 years.
That's awesome.
We've worked together for
15,
almost 13. Yeah, 15 years. And at one point, I'm a pretty intense person. I'm also completely full of shit. So I can have both sides of that.
I didn't say it, man.
At one point of our business, Jody came to me and shut the door and just said, "Dude, I can't take it. You gotta pull yourself out of this." And really helped me see what I was doing that was impacting other people. And I think that that's important. That's a hard conversation. I mean, that's not easy for you to go to somebody that you're sharing an office and a business and have known for that many years, to go to them and say, "Dude, you're impacting me in a negative way." And I think that that's something you have to give people. You have to give them the heads up. They don't know. People don't know what they don't know. And to be able to do that, that's hard. That's really hard to do. But I agree with you. You have to do it. You have to go to people, or if you can't get that person or that company or that whatever it is, sometimes it's a bank, sometimes it's a supplier, whatever it is. If you can't get them to a place where they are helping you move forward, then you've got to end it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's that, and also just like little things, like one thing that I figured out about myself is I'm really into sad, depressing music for some reason. But guess what? When I'm listening to that shit, you will not get me out of bed, okay? Nor will I want to do anything throughout the rest of the day. It's like my favorite type of music for some reason. But it's something that I figured out that really slows me down throughout the day. It gets me in that kind of sad boy mode, and I'm like, I need to get out of this. So it's like I need to stop listening to this and do something else. Put on some nice podcasts. MF CEO is one of my favorite with Andy Frisella. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, but that's a great one. But listen to Rennie's podcast, The Rad Company, just happy moods type of stuff is like what gets me going. So it's just like little things like that, all the way up to like kicking people out of your freaking life. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to identify is what gets you going. I mean, I put different things on when I'm doing different types of work. If I'm out in my shop and I'm working, I've got, one of two different kinds of music, which sounds really crazy, but it's either like heavy metal and it's in the background and it's just noise, or it is, or I put on some kind of just low key. Don't like to listen to instrumental stuff. And what I find with myself is if I'm working and I put on a podcast, I stop working. I'm like listening because I want to catch every little nugget. And I had to stop doing that because I just found myself sitting in a chair listening to a podcast in the shop, and I'm like, this is dumb. Why am I even doing this in the shop? I can do this sitting in the house. So I have to put on music in the background and just let it all blare out.
To the point where I have Joe Rogan's podcast playing on a loop around my house, to be honest with you. Like, I feel weird when I don't have a podcast playing or something like that. It feels strange to me,
Yeah.
Another thing I like doing, going back to the motivation thing, once in a while it's just nice to call a friend or a buddy up. I always do that. Like, anytime I feel like whether I'm down or I got a brain fart or something, I just can't think or I can't get myself motivated to do something, a simple phone call to a friend or somebody throughout the industry is more than enough to get you going again. One of my main go-to guys is Jimmy Buffett, Oscar Hernandez from 805, amazing guy, Christian Parker, but they don't answer half the fucking time, so it's like
you just gotta text them.
That's no point. They're always done by 12, but for some reason after 12, they don't want to answer a damn phone call
because they're lifting weights.
Lifting weights. Don't only have to lift weights for you. You're only half a person, man. Come on.
They're great. You're ever feeling like you're really, like your ego's really built up and you're just like, man, I'm great. I'm awesome. Call the Parkers. They'll bring you right back down to where you belong.
Yeah. That is so true. No, but they're all those guys I said, man, they're great guys, and they've really been there for me throughout, like, most of everything, every time I called them, So it's just like, find that person in the industry or in your family life or something just to go to and talk to for a few minutes, because we all need someone to talk to, especially as guys who are working alone in a shop remote. Get lonely sometimes, man. Like, it is what it is. You've been detailing for 8 hours a day. Just talk to somebody about what's on your mind. So
yeah, and I've tried to do that in the last, especially since we've all been at home. If I think about it, I'll get a hold of somebody. In the past, I wouldn't have gotten a hold of them, but I'll call somebody up and just like, hey, for whatever reason, I felt like I needed to call you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are like, man, I really needed that.
Yeah.
I needed somebody to get a hold of me. I was working I'm working on a project with a neighbor. I've lived in the same house for 23 years, or going on 20 years, but this guy down the street has lived there for 23. And years and years ago, I saw this car sticking out of his garage, and I was like, dude, if you ever want, help with that, let me know. Well, he let me know this year. So 20 years later, he decided to fire this thing up. And he's owned it for 30 years, hasn't run in 23 years. But it is a 1965 Porsche 356 SC. Factory disc brake car, factory AC, every single option. I mean, and it's all original. It has never been a part. And so I was over there working on it. And for me, I'm just all excited. I'm all jazzed up. I was a certified mechanic and worked on Volkswagen and air-cooled stuff for years. And I'm freaking out. And there's not a lot of people I can share that with. So I know one guy that's also a freak that likes air-cooled Volkswagen stuff, and you guys know who he is. And so, man, I'm texting Chris Woolman.
Yeah.
I'm sending him pictures. And it was funny because it was clear into the night. I mean, it was like 10 o'clock at night. It's dark outside. I know where he's at. He knows where I'm at. We're still texting back and forth. I'm sending him pictures, and he's like, do this, do this, do this. And it's not even my car, but it was, like you said, it's just somebody that you could kind of relate to and that you could send this stuff to and kind of share that feeling that you're going through right then. So
Exactly. No, I love that, man. Chris is a great guy.
So if you were to give advice, your tips for a growing business, what are one or two things that you think are really critical for people?
That's a big question. I would say the biggest thing for me is to give it time. People underestimate the value of time. It takes a long, like when I was in college, I haven't graduated college. I'm basically a dropout at this point. I'm like 3 credits away from getting my associate's degree. I'll get back to that later, Mom, but it is what it is. My professor at the time, she was my business professor, and she really changed the game for me with just saying this. You got to imagine a business when you're an entrepreneur as your child, as a newborn baby. And the thing that your baby's going to value the most is your time that you put into them. You can't just leave it to the side and let it try to grow itself. You have to nurture it. You have to go back to it. You have to address issues that occur, with your kid, basically, in this analogy that I'm using. But you also have to realize there's other kids around you that might grow up a little bit quicker. Deal with it, You don't got to be jealous about it. Just deal with it and keep working on yours. And don't forget about it. Help it grow, nurture it, and give it time. It takes a lot of time for things to get going and growing. So, and I'm not just talking about a few weeks. I'm talking about a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I mean, I was trying to make this happen in Chicago. 10 years, yeah. I was trying to make this in Chicago, happen in Chicago land area for over a year and a half, and then I had to completely shut that down, move it over to a whole nother state, and start it up all over again.
Yep.
And even through that, and breakups through relationships, girlfriends, family issues, all that stuff. It takes a lot of time to address your issues, the company's issues, and move forward from that, and really, really put your passion into it. And it goes back to what we were talking about before. You can do business for money and monetary purposes, but I think your passion and motivation is what really sets you apart from everybody else. So how passionate are you? Are you willing to work at 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 6 a.m. for your next appointment, which I do all the time, and it's killing me, but it's like, it is what it is. Just got to deal with it. And it's not going to be like that forever. There's going to come a time where I'll be retired, hopefully, when I'm 40 years old. Probably not going to happen, but we'll see what happens.
And I think that you don't know what's coming around the bend.
Yeah.
I mean, this year, particularly 2020, should be a huge eye opener for people. That I don't care what you prepared for. I don't care what you think or thought your business was going to be. It changed, and you have to adapt. Adaptability, to me, is the biggest advice people need to have. If you set your business up and you were the premier ceramic coating and that's all you did, you threw every other thing out the window. All I do is ceramic coatings. You're in trouble this year, because this year it's all about sanitization, cleaning, detailing, and getting back to the roots, if you will, or making things clean and making people feel good about being inside of a vehicle. And I think a lot of people have had to adapt to that. And even, Jody and I have had to deal with ours. The software industry is insane, and it's as cutthroat as the detailing industry is. And we've had to overcome some issues. We've had to deal with stuff for the past. This is our 11th year in business as Zenware with RoadFS. And
congratulations, guys.
Yeah, and we look at it. It's kind of funny because we take like 30 seconds. We're like, "Hey, it's our 10-year anniversary! Yay!"
Yay!
It's like, what do we do next? Because we don't want to ever sit back and be comfortable with that, because we know there's something else coming around the bend.
Oh yeah.
And I like the idea of what you're saying about passion, because it's everybody's individual passion for what they do and what they do after work that drives them.
Yeah, for sure. And
it's some people, it's for being at home. Some people that are detailers that work out of their home shop. Sydney at I Wash Detailing here in Boise, she works out of her home, and it's because of her passion to be there. And she's fantastic at it. And no, she's not knocking down $5 million a year, but that's not her goal either. So I think that's goals and passion combined is what does it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think that it's a lot of people get like misinformation online. All these like entrepreneurship gurus on Instagram standing in front of their fancy Lamborghinis and this and that, but in reality it's a freaking Turo rental. And it's like, you have to realize like just where you are right now and where you want to go, and take your time to go ahead and make it happen. I think a lot of us want everything in a world where everything is instant. We can load up a result on our phone, order something off of Grubhub and have it at our house in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes. That's not how business works. It's not how entrepreneurship works. There's quick money, but it's not going to last long. And if you're in this for a marathon, not the 400-meter sprint.
Yep.
So,
absolutely,
that is gold right there. It's not a 100-yard dash. It is a marathon, and if you can learn that early in your business, it's going to make it a lot better. So. Well, man, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, obviously we could continue going. But how do people connect with you and your business?
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you guys again for having me. This has been awesome. So I was really looking forward to this. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. We don't really have a chance to talk too often. We should call each other a bit more often, guys. Don't forget about me. But yeah, you guys can go ahead. We can check me out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm pretty much everywhere. Just at CarNewba Detailing, CarNewba, followed by detailing, or just find me Zaia Dinkha. I'm more than happy to message you on personal platforms as well. Got nothing to hide. If you guys are interested, I do poetry. I play guitar and all that stuff. You can check that out over there too. So come and check it out.
Any likes, nice sunset walks on the beach, and well, wait, you're in Arizona, so it's nice sunset walks in between cactus.
Pretty much.
Before 2 p.m. and then you have to go indoors.
Yeah, and you gotta wear a lot of sunscreen. Have a ambulance behind you just in case if you have a heat stroke. So. Especially for you, Rod.
Especially for me.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your insight, your experience, your energy. Really, guys, you need to go check him out. He has a phenomenal YouTube and Instagram channel, and he's just great energy, great vibe. And we want to thank you guys for joining us every week as we visit with the movers and shakers of the detailing industry. But most importantly, we're sharing your story, and the ultimate goal is to help you guys build your business and grow. So thank you guys, and we will check you guys same time, same bat channel, just next week. See ya.
Sounds great. Take care, guys.
Thanks, man. You have a great day.
You too, guys. Enjoy it.